Right. So I'll be discussing carrying spares, emergency spares on your bike. So traditionally, the the method of carrying your spares on your bike is via a saddlebag like this. So this is a pretty small saddlebag, really. So just enough for the basics. So and it secures to your saddle rails via this strap. It's a volley strap. So um, these straps were originally used for skiers. So yeah, as it turns out, they're also quite good for lashing stuff onto your bike, like this saddlebag right here. Okay, so the contents of my saddlebag are laid out mostly on this table, with the exception of this pump, because this is obviously a little too big for that particular saddlebag. Um, so in terms of emergency spares, the emergencies we want to mitigate or we want to address on the bike are usually those that involve punctures or flat tires. So puncture is the correct term, but colloquially we call them flat tires. Um, and central to those repairs are these. These are inner tubes. So these are basically ring-shaped balloons. Okay, um, and these are made of a material called TPU, thermoplastic polyurethane. That explains why they're pink. Um, yeah, this is a Chinese brand right now, so they make their TPU inner tubes pink for some reason. So the traditional material for these is butyl, which is the black rubber that we are probably more familiar with. But the TPU is a little newer, and the advantage of TPU is that it packs down to a smaller size. So if I were bringing a butyl inner tube, I would have room for just one of these inside this saddlebag. Okay, so with TPU I have two. So with inner tubes, they work across a number of different sizes. So you need to match your inner tubes with your tire size. In my case, I run 700C by 40 millimeter tires. So 700C is the wheel size. So that's a typical wheel size for a road bike or a gravel bike. So and then 40 millimeters is the width. So yeah, so these will come in a range of sizes. Usually, one inner tube will cover, say, from a 32 to a 40 millimeter tire, for example. So yeah, since these are balloons, they can inflate, and to a certain extent they can take up the slack, so to speak. So, right. So how do you get these inner tubes inside your tire? So that requires a method of dismounting the tire from your wheel rim, and that's done by this. This is a tire lever. Um, so the business end here is the scoop shaped end. So you basically you basically wedge this uh, into the very narrow space between your tire bead and your wheel rim, and the objective is to hoik it out, so to speak. So and then this other end, which has hooks here, these can hook into your spokes if needed. So yeah, um, with tire levers, there are a wide variety of these, but in my 10 plus years of riding bikes, this is the best I've used. So this is a tire lever from a brand called Pedro's. So Pedro's tire levers are cheap insurance. They're so good that usually I need only just one. Normally, if you have weaker tire levers, you need at least two. So this is beefy enough that you just need one. So yeah, if you have a tire and wheel combination that's robust enough to snap one of these. That it's really really tight. So yeah, um, cheap insurance. Try seeking these out in your local bike shop. Um, and yeah, since these inner tubes are balloons, you need a method of inflating them, which brings us to this. This is a mini pump. So this is a this is basically a portable inflation method, so to speak. So this is kind of a unusual mini pump in that it folds out like this. And it folds like that. If I can get it open. So yeah, so it folds out like that, and it's a miniature floor pump. So yeah, you step on this fold out peg, and then you can put more weight onto it. So it's a little bigger than most mini pumps, but yeah, this makes pumping a little easier. So yeah, there are electric inflators as well. So my experience has been mixed on those. So they work, but they're noisy, and sometimes the batteries don't hold the charge after X amount of time. So yeah, so so that's pretty much everything related uh, to puncture repair, apart from a couple of specialized tools. So this narrow thing made of aluminum is a valve core tool. So it has two ends, one for Presta valves, which are what you usually find on bikes, and one for Schrader valves, which are what you usually find on cars. So bikes will run either. This will have both. So you can use this to twist the valve core off for both Schrader and Presta. So not a critical tool, but nice to have. Might as well carry it since I have it. And then I have this I have this Ziploc bag, which has a few interesting things. In this case, it's an old driver's license, which serves as identification, and and it also contains some money, so some paper bills. So these bills are actually a puncture repair tool, believe it or not. So if your tire is in bad enough shape that it blows out from the side, it blows a tear out of the side, you'll need to boot it. You need to put the tire boot into it before you swap in a new inner tube. Why? Because if you put in an inner tube into a tire that has a big gaping hole on the side of it, this will just burst out of the hole. So yeah, this needs bracing. So inner tubes need to be braced by an intact tire to get the air pressure, the tire pressure that you need them to be. No, so these, in case of a torn tire, you can put one of these. Better if you have the plastic bills, the newer plastic bills. You can put one of these inside the tire and make it act like a tire boot. So when you swap in your tube, it stays airtight without blowing up. So yeah, I know. So it's a get you home money. It's also emergency money, as well as an emergency tire boot. So yeah, who knew? Okay, and then next is a way of fixing mechanical issues on your bike. So this is a multi-tool. Okay, so a multi-tool like this is a kind of a Swiss Army knife style kind of deal. So you have multiple hex keys or Allen wrenches, so in different sizes, and that will allow you to tighten or loosen bolts on your bike. On modern bikes, they're usually metric, so you will need hex keys or Allen wrenches that are in millimeters, not inches. So this has 2, I believe this is a 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 6. And this is an 8, I believe. Yeah. So, yeah, this is an 8. That's a 6, and this is an 8. So yeah. So this covers a lot of your common bolt sizes for bikes. So you also have a couple of screwdrivers. These are not so important. And you have also a Torx key. In this case, it's a T25. So these are for brake rotor bolts. So very useful. So that's one part of this multi-tool. It lives in this magnetic sleeve. And this cutout is a bottle opener. Yeah. And then one thing you also want to have on your multi-tool is this. So this is a chain breaker. So essentially it's a press tool. So if I can set it up, this is a press tool that will allow you to press rivets from your chain in and out. So yeah, you put your chain link into these teeth, these ones, and then so assume that this is a we put a chain link here. This you then turn with your Allen key, with your hex key, and then you push the rivet out, so it goes into this groove. So yeah, that's how you break a chain. Yeah, and then there are many instances where you will need to use a chain breaker. So ideally, you will also want to carry spare master links. So yeah, those will allow you to rejoin a chain that's otherwise mangled or broken. So there, very indispensable. And then last but not least, well, I have two more things to talk about. So these are short zip ties, so very useful. But to bunch repairs, or to lash things to the bike. So yeah, always useful to carry a small pack of short zip ties. And then lastly, this one is a spare rear derailleur hanger and mounting hardware. So this is a bespoke to your bike. This is custom to your bike until recently. So this one is for my frame. This allows you, well, sorry, this is where your rear derailleur attaches to, in this threaded hole, into this threaded hole here. And then what this is actually a sacrificial part. So in case you drop your bike hard enough onto its right side, and you hit the derailleur hard enough, this is meant to break. So why is it meant to break? So it's a safety feature, so that you don't write off your entire frame. You don't have to replace your entire frame once that happens. You can just replace this. So yeah, frames are a lot more expensive than derailleur hangers, but yeah, it can be a pain to look for one that matches your bike. So, but I highly suggest that you look for one for your particular bike ASAP, because you never know when you need this. So yeah, it's always handy to keep a spare of it in your saddlebag. So yeah, that's my spares kit. With all of this, you should be pretty prepared for most any emergency mechanical issue that you encounter on your bike ride.